listen to Western media, they spend all their time lying. Through communication, they manage to rewrite history. And as for African history, they schemed everything to spread lies. As a result, some young Africans don't even know the history of Africa or what Africa has accomplished. Some don't even know that our grandparents fought, were put on the front lines as cannon fodder. And when they returned, they were killed like animals. Do people know that when France tested its first atomic bomb, it was black soldiers they placed nearby in the blast radius to see what would happen? Let's bring out the archives.
This is a small extract from one of the most eye-opening interviews you'll ever hear, where President Traoré of Burkina Faso exposes the hidden truths the West doesn't want us to know. What he reveals sheds light on the deep-rooted global disrespect toward Africans and how it continues to shape our mindset. Let's listen to the rest of the interview.
If I take the case of Burkina Faso, there are many criminals in Burkina Faso, but they are not Burkinabe. There are also trainers who come from many countries to teach them a lot of techniques.
But what is their interest?
It's not really terrorism, it's imperialism. Their goal is to keep us in a state of permanent war so that we cannot develop and so they can continue to plunder our resources. So they have every interest in bringing in specialists in mines to lay various types of mines and explosives experts. So these are professionals from certain countries who come to teach them all of this. All of this is to keep us in a state of insecurity. But we are aware of the situation. We adapt each time to their methods of operation, and we will continue the fight until we have recovered, because it is a form of oppression by imperialism. It is necessary for those who are oppressed to unite in order to confront this hegemony. So we are moving forward gradually. There are many structures to put in place, and there are many areas that need to be upgraded in the three countries. Because as you know, from an economic standpoint, we are not at the same level, and from a military perspective, there are many aspects to consider. We need to try to balance things out. And so, this requires the establishment of many structures and numerous meetings. And free movement requires a certain number of parameters to be put together. You must have seen that we did a lot of work to come up with a single security document for travel and everything. So it's evolving and things are going very well. I think they themselves contributed to diminishing their own influence because they have a paternalistic view of our relationship. You see, whenever you look at everything we do, every initiative we take, it's always about Russia. Someone speaks and they say they're influenced by Russia. Everything that happens, it's Russia. Why do they have their eyes closed like that? So Africans aren't capable of developing anything. Africans aren't capable of inventing, innovating, or taking initiatives. That's what we're fighting against. And look at their speeches. Look at their speeches. Even the French president, always in his speeches, says that young Africans are influenced by Russia. It said, and if you listen to Western media, they spend all their time lying. And look today, the AES, which is a model that's starting to take shape, they can't go a single day without talking about Burkina or the AES. It's impossible for them. And every time they try to spread information, to divide, to manipulate the youth. But it doesn't work anymore. I think people are aware enough. Now people have their eyes open. Through communication, they managed to rewrite history. And as for African history, they schemed everything to spread lies. As a result, some young Africans don't even know the history of Africa or what Africa has accomplished. Some don't even know that our grandparents fought, were put on the front lines as cannon fodder. And when they returned, they were killed like animals. Do people know that when France tested its first atomic bomb, it was black soldiers they placed nearby in the blast radius to see what would happen? Let's bring out the archives. Everything they've used against Africa is terrible. So all of this needs to be communicated so that young Africans understand, because there are still many who are asleep and continue to speak on behalf of the imperialists. Whatever they're told to say, they do it. Maybe it's because, Well, they're given something, I don't know. But Africans need to understand their history and wake up. So that's our fight as well. My biggest regret is having spent a good part of my youth listening to radio stations like RFI and France 24. I've been in countries where those radio stations were shut down. But we would use apps to record their news broadcasts so we could listen. But at some point, something clicked. I started to realize that they were conditioning our minds to accept what they wanted. It's their narrative that they want us to learn. And since then, I've started to see things for what they are. And I understood that what they're doing is very dangerous. And today, more than ever, I realize that they have conditioned the minds, especially of Africans. So, you can play a big role in awakening the consciousness of young people so that people understand how the world works. And don't let themselves be led astray by those people.
What President Traoré said isn't just bold, it's a challenge to all of us. A challenge to question what we've been told, to rethink Africa's place in the world, and to reflect on the systems that keep us divided. But the real question is the West holding Africa back? Or is it time we take full control of our own narrative? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's have the conversation that's long overdue. If you found this video valuable or thought-provoking, please consider supporting us with a like and subscribing to the channel. It's completely free, but it makes a big difference in helping us keep this content coming. And don't stop here, check out the next video. I think you're really going to enjoy it.